considering my usual kind of content, this is a little bit of a peculiar video. Today, I'm gonna be talking about my schedule. You might be wondering, who the f cares? Well, for the longest time, it certainly wasn't this guy. If I could kind of summarize my working and fitness habits, it would be lazily productive. I've always been pretty big into like productivity and entrepreneurship and stuff.
2 words, entrepreneurship.
And obviously fitness, but it turns out following an actual routine and schedule makes all 3 of those things a lot better. So how I would go about my day previously was I would kind of get a general idea of what I needed to do the night before, wake up in the morning, scramble a little bit, and almost Frankenstein together some kind of order about doing things. Usually after waking up sometime between 9 and 11 a.m. But recently, I've started doing something absolutely mind-bogglingly insane. I wake up between 5 and 6 a.m. For starters, I just feel cooler waking up when it's dark. Like I feel like fucking Batman, like hell yeah, I beat the sun today. But aside from that, the morning hours of productivity are a lot different from nighttime hours of productivity. First thing in the morning like that, there's absolutely no one that's gonna bother you. Everyone's either asleep, too tired to give a fuck to talk to you, and just by the nature of how the world works, there's pretty much nothing going on that early, which means that I can get a pretty huge head start on my day, which snowballs into my fitness, which I'm gonna talk about in a little bit. There's this concept that a lot of entrepreneurs online will talk about, and that's this idea of snowballing wins throughout your day. The idea is as you have more internal successes throughout your day, after one success, following with another one is a little bit easier. So for starters, waking up to an alarm at 5:30 in the morning sucks dick. I can't think of anyone that feels good when they hear at 5:31 in the morning. But after laying there for 3 minutes, staring at the ceiling, contemplating my life choices for a second, I muster up every last drop of my willpower to get up, achieving my first victory of the day. Already, I haven't even actually done shit, but just by waking up, I've already done something that's kind of difficult. So I've structured my routine in kind of blocks. That initial morning block is usually immediately some kind of yard work or labor outside on the farm, and on days where it's not, it's going to be work towards my business. Then at around 9 a.m., I'll eat my breakfast, which recently has been steak and eggs, and then from 9 a.m. to noon, I'll do a long cardio session on the treadmill where I'm still at my desk, but I'm doing less meaningful activities. Depending on my goals today that I always lay out the night before, it'll either be computer work related to my business, watching fitness videos, or just watching anime or playing video games. Then about noon, this is extremely important, I eat my pre-workout meal. This is usually chicken or steak, rice, and either some honey or like a little icy pop before the gym to get some fast-acting carbs in before my workout. Then almost always immediately after the gym, I'll have some kind of errand to run. And so by the time all that's wrapped up, we're now at about 3 p.m. Between 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. right now for me is my dedicated work block for my business. So recording videos, editing, working on my program, outreach, making shorts, whatever it is I need to do for my business that day, I take 3 hours no matter what to work on content creation. The final block of the day, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., this is kind of where I wind down a little bit. Sometimes I'll do some work outside because it's not hot as fuck, but typically it'll be another walking treadmill session. I'll watch some YouTube or anime while on the treadmill, write some video ideas down for YouTube or TikTok on my notes app, maybe take a client call or 2, eat dinner. Today on the menu, we got 2 steaks and some watermelon and pineapple. I know, an amazing, absolutely immaculate meal concoction. Speaking of coaching, if you want to be coached by me, it's the second link in the description. And then I've also been working on releasing my Total Transformation program. It's dropping on my birthday, July 14th. And if you want to save 20% off on it, you can put your email in the first link in the description and you'll save 20% the first week it drops. So the first thing I'm going to kind of go over here is the amount of cardio I'm doing. I'm consistently and effortlessly hitting about 10 miles every day of walking. Now to some of you, this might sound absolutely batshit fucking crazy, but because I'm combining my treadmill activity with either working or doing things I like playing video games or watching anime, it becomes extremely easy for me to do, especially in the very cool AC in my room with a fan blowing on me. And then you'll notice the structure is essentially 2 big work blocks and then the gym in the middle. Splitting up my work blocks like this is very important. It allows me to go all out on work and then kind of take a break, move my body around, refresh a little bit, eat some food, lift some weights, have a little bit of fun in the gym because I enjoy training, and then going back to mental work after. This was actually the same routine I did when I was doing very high level video editing, but I ended up falling off of it because of college. But now that I'm in the summer again, completely doing my own thing and back into this routine, I can almost without a doubt say that this is pretty much the most productive I've been in months. Previously, I would train in the late evenings or even in the middle of the night, and this had a lot of of problems, especially being on a calorie deficit. To get the best performance in the gym, I need to have some caffeine, and then I also need to get a good amount of carbs in right before my workout session. So if I'm going to the gym at like 5 p.m., I'm usually not going to eat dinner right before the gym, which means that my glycogen stores and the carbs going through my system are not going to be ideal. On top of that, I'm unfortunately not dumb enough to take in excess caffeine that late, leading to a compromise in performance. With this setup, I can have pretty much all the caffeine I want with no impacts on my sleep. Pro tip, absolutely no caffeine after 3:30 p.m. Sometimes I will have like a 50 milligram caffeine coffee after my workout just to give me a little bit of extra mental sharpness for my work session. I've personally always had a really tough time with sleep. Just to be transparent, I have super bad ADHD, pretty much like top tier, as bad as it gets. I was like the ultimate problem child demon in school, and so oftentimes I'll just lay there thinking about like fucking muscle protein synthesis or some shit for like an hour and a half before I can actually fall asleep. And regularity is a super important factor in your sleep. If you sleep at the same time every day, it's gonna be a lot easier for you to fall asleep. So I try to get in bed around 9 p.m. That way I fall asleep by 10 p.m. On nights where I'm really having a hard time, I'll take like a CBD THC melatonin gummy right before I go to sleep to kind of turn off my brain's notification spam. But anyways, being on this routine, I'm a lot more productive, my workouts are better, and things are just a lot more consistent. And for me, for my mental health and just overall well-being, when I know I'm consistently knocking out wins, making progress on all the things that are important to me, you know, even just doing this and sticking to it for like a week or two, it makes a huge difference on your self-confidence, the way you act, the way you present yourself, even the way you talk. Like, I'm actually starting to notice it just in the way I talk and the way I interact with people. Knowing that you're just doing the things that you're supposed to be doing and making leaps towards your goals and aspirations, you just feel better about yourself. When things are a little bit shakier, or I'm in like a little bit of a rough spot, I'm going through a little bit of like a low period in my life, I tend to have kind of this like lingering voice in the back of my head that's like, hey Thomas, you know all that shit that you're supposed to be doing that you're not doing? You should probably start doing that. Like when you know you're supposed to be doing something, or you make a promise to yourself and you break it, that's pretty much one of the worst feelings that you can have. Even if you suppress it and don't like consciously think about it, subconsciously it's gonna come out and emerge in just your mannerisms, how you feel in your day-to-day life. I've also structured the routine with big blocks, giving myself like a general idea of what I should be doing at that time. That way it's flexible and I can make adjustments as needed. You know, things pop up in the middle of the day, or like the night before I make some kind of plan. You know, maybe it's raining that morning and there's not going to be any work outside, so I can get a jump start on my work on my business, maybe get all my work done for the day, or even like all my cardio done for the day, and like plan to do something fun and social in the evening. Another concept that's pretty important here, I've kind of combined doing work-like activities with things that are really fun, you know, enjoyable pastimes like watching anime, to make this extremely sustainable for me and easy to follow. That way there's almost no risk of burning out. If you have like some crazy rise and grind, like self-improvement ass routine that's not realistic at all, for starters, you're probably not going to follow it, and it's going to kind of lead to what I mentioned earlier, where you're going to feel like shit by making promises that you can't fulfill. And then also that idea of burnout. You know, I can follow some crazy, like insanely productive routine that basically has me working all day, but how long can I actually follow that for? Not super long, maybe a week or two max. This routine is something, again, I can effortlessly do every single day, and then there's even a ton of flexibility, so I can work in things like social events without compromising the important stuff, like the deep work block early in the morning, aspects of my business, or my diet and training. For example, I have a date at lunch planned at noon. Oh no, I can't go to the gym. Just kidding. All I have to do is move gym to a different block, probably immediately after the lunch date, so I'm filled with carbs and glycogen. Oh boy. And boom, you know, make some minor rearrangements. Oh no, I only hit 8 miles of cardio instead of 10 that day. Like you can see, with some common sense adjustments, I can pretty much minimize or have absolutely no losses in my productivity if I do things right. It's modular, flexible, and realistic. If this video was helpful, insightful, or entertaining, please subscribe. It's gonna help me continue to afford to eat steak for every meal. Check out my other socials, coaching, the program, all that stuff in the description, and I'll see you in the next video.